Welcome to Envision Radio from the United Way of Greater Charlottesville and City of Promise and News Radio 98.9, 1070 AM WINA, and brought to you by the Jefferson School Foundation with Marky and the long-awaited Prince himself, who is taking a long break. No PTO, no paid PTO. Coming to you from right here in the studio in downtown Charlottesville.
Back from my accidental hiatus.
I know, that's
it's good
right.
to be back. I missed this.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, well,
I like doing that.
I appreciate you. We almost got fired.
Yeah,
we almost found somebody else.
We started doing live shows for a while, and now we're back to doing what it is that we do. More importantly, what's going on, man?
What's up? What's up?
James Dowell in the studio with us. How are things?
Everything is everything, man. You know.
I know that, Lauren.
I gotta ask you a question that I've never asked you before, and we've talked all the time. Where'd your nickname come from?
Littlez.
Yeah.
So, at one time, I was the youngest in my family. So, as far as my other two brothers, I was the youngest.
Okay.
And so, when I was born, at delivery, my dad said, "I'm gonna call you Little Man." And
Okay.
so I was Little Man up until about 7th grade. And then my best friend was like, "Man, we gonna call you Littles."
Right.
And so it stuck. It ended up on MySpace, Facebook, under my, you know
sign of the times, as
so
things do. That's right.
It stuck through high school.
That's
and
absolutely
here I am.
right. Wow.
I love a good nickname.
Yeah, that's good.
So,
Do you have a nickname?
Yeah. No, my name's
His
like
name is really short.
weird, and it's
Pry.
one
What's up,
syllable,
Pry?
so you can't. Yeah, there's like not a lot to do, And there was the era where you get all the price adjacent stuff. I got, when Priceline.com was a thing. I got a lot of that. That happened.
I knew a little man growing up, and I didn't know his real name. Mm-hmm. I was like, somebody was like, "Where's Dimitri?" I said, "Who is that?"
It's people still to this day.
I'm sure.
If y'all say James, they would be like, "Who?"
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
yeah,
even
yeah.
you can say the last name because I'm a junior.
Okay.
So Proud Jr.
Okay. Yeah.
And they Jamie. They know.
Oh, that's.
I know so many
funny.
people I don't know their real name, and then I had a cousin who they used to call her like Juicy, and she tried to grow out of it. And after she was like, "Please don't." She was went around telling people, "Don't call me that no more." And I was like, "I didn't even know I didn't know you had a real name."
Yeah.
She's still trying to battle it. She's about 30 years old, still battling it.
Oh, listen, there's people who I, through my sports career, there's a guy who I remember who's now, high up in like private equity, right? And his nickname in college, no, they call him Gerbil.
And they still call him that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to make $1 million claims.
This guy's like a vice president of like some Silicon Valley thing. Yeah. And we saw him, and we were like, Gerbil. He's like, I'm like, I don't know what else to call you, because to your point, I don't know your name. I don't know your name. I've never addressed you as anything else. To be fair, if someone had come up to me and been like, "Hey, do you know James from Prolyfyck?" I would have been like,
bingo.
No.
There you go. All right, there you go.
Probably not.
In the run space, I am Littles in
Okay.
Virginia, in New York, in Cali.
Like, I don't know. Maybe. Like, maybe. What does he look like?
You're describing him. What's coming to me? You know James.
Right.
James.
And then they show you a picture.
Yeah.
Right.
Talking about Little.
Yeah.
Why you calling him James?
Like what?
Wow.
Hold on,
You don't know him for real like that?
James.
You must have met him on LinkedIn.
Yes, seriously. I'm about to update that name.
No, that's right.
Well, look, tell us a little bit about go early days. Tell us a little about growing up, and then we'll obviously move into the present stuff.
Man. So, I'm a native of Charlottesville, Virginia. It's funny, a lot of people don't know this story, but I was actually born in Jacksonville, North Carolina, on the military base. My dad's a Marine, and so I just so happened to be out of my other two brothers that's older than me at the time. My mom was down there when she had me, and so I moved back here before I was old enough to talk. And so, I'd never really resided in North Carolina. So, I say I'm a native of Charlottesville, Virginia. So went to city schools, graduated from Charlottesville High School. I'm a Black Knight. And I went to Radford University 4 years, got my bachelor in business admin, concentration in marketing. And, I moved back to my roots. I'm very proud of that, very proud of still residing in Charlottesville, Virginia. At times, I saw myself moving out, especially after college, to kind of pursue the big city life, and community found me here, and I'm grateful for it. But, I have deep family roots here, grandparents from here, both parents from here. And, all of my brothers, nieces, and nephews are still local. And so big family-oriented type of guy, huge, close family niche that's here in Charlottesville. And I love it, man. I do a lot here with and in and out the community. And so it's precious being able to grow something here from its roots and continue to be here and watch it flourish, man.
Talk a little bit about coming back. What was that like to you? I know it sort of comes in all shapes and sizes, right? And I mean, I sort of did the same thing, left and came back. And I know some people are like, man, like they feel like the way you talk about it was like you were coming back to something familiar but that had opportunity. You know, there's a lot of people sort of in our same age range that are like, I couldn't wait to get out of there because there's nothing happening.
Everybody on here talks about like, I thought I was going to go do this, but things...
100%. Well, when you grow up here, I mean, you grew up here-ish, but it's like you don't see the stuff that you're doing now. Like at 17,
Bingo.
You'd have never been like, couldn't see this as a possible future.
No way.
Right? And even me, I would have never, 15 years on would have said, oh yeah, and as an adult, I'll be able to do this and meet these people and sort of, sort of build whatever we're building here in Charlottesville.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting because we keep doing it.
Yes. Yes.
Like it keeps happening. So I wonder if that means something sort of for this next crop of kids who are coming and going, like, because it was never even told to me. Like no one was like, hey, I didn't have a lot of archetypes for that. I think there's more of those now. I think and maybe we just didn't find them. But like there's a lot of people who grew up here who kind of left and then came back and have sort of coalesced around this idea of like Charles was a place where you can be an adult, you can raise a family, you can find community, you can do cool stuff. But when it was happening, were you excited by that, or were you just like, man, I don't know, I don't want to move to New York City, so like we're just gonna have to try and figure it out?
Yeah, no, I was not excited at all. I moved back. I graduated college in 2015, and all of my friends at the time in college were like, I'm moving to Charlotte. Sure. I got this job here. I'm moving there. I'm like, even if I got the job, it ain't paying me that much. How am I about to afford that?
No, that's right.
I couldn't figure it out. And so I'm like, am I not applying myself? Is this like a personal problem that I got to take on and I got to eat and accept that I didn't do enough throughout my undergrad career? And so, I was never in like a depressed state of, I got to move back home. I was like, this is just temporary. But I was also still lying to myself because I really didn't have a plan of like how I'm going to make this move happen. And so, I accepted it. Like I said, I'm close to my family. So I was like, I could get through this. And so I remember moving back and I'm like, moving back to my parents' house. And like, all right, man, I just came from college where I had my own place.
Yeah.
It's like,
you're right.
Engineering.
It's hard.
Sure,
like,
it is.
It's insane. And so, I get a job that at the time it was the, greatest job in my life just because it was salary. I wasn't making no money, but it was salary.
Oh,
and so, I was like, well, this is the life that I have to adjust to. And, I always told myself I was moving to Philly. And the reason I say that is because throughout college, I would travel to different cities, whether it's spring break or summer break. I was like, I need to find a place that I enjoy, not that I think is cool.
Sure.
And no Philly sports or anything brought me there. I literally love like the culture there.
The city.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
go to Pat's, get a cheesesteak.
And the outskirts. And so it's wild. People like, out of all places, I'm like, trust me, I agree. But it feels like home there.
Okay.
So I was moving there. So I told myself that I was moving there. So from 2016 to like 2019, I'm like searching for these jobs. I'm driving up there throughout the weekday, calling in sick to work.
You were serious?
Oh, calling in sick to work. Just go up there to take an interview, drive back. I'm talking pulling day trips, and things were not falling through. And I think it's the greatest thing that happened to me, which I would never request it again in the world, but the pandemic. It kept me here because of the world shutting down, and Prolyfyck birthed out of that. And so, like the journey from like 2016 to 2019, I'm like questioning myself of like, am I like acting like timid on my goals, of chasing my goals? Am I underestimating the work that needs to be put in to make that shift, to make that transition? And I believe that I was supposed to be here. I believe that I wasn't supposed to leave.
What were you, so when you went off to school, what did you want to be?
At that time, I did sports marketing and intern. And so I loved it because I had a great connection with those individuals on the basketball team. At the time, Yaya Anderson, which is from here, he was playing basketball at Radford, D-man, and that's my guy. And so we're at school together, and then I knew all the other athletes through him, and so still close friends with the Radford athletes. One of them's playing for the Detroit Pistons now.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Javonte Green, woo. And so, I had a great college experience with internships and sports where I was like, I'm going to pursue this.
Yeah.
And I met some great relationships, made some great connections where I think there was some opportunity. But at one point, I think I got nervous when the first opportunity came to me. It was outside of, it was Lancaster, PA.
Okay.
And it was for a minor league baseball team. And I'm like
Amish country.
Bingo. And I'm Googling it and I'm like, Charlotte, Lancaster.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And so, I had a lot of ideas, but I never really acted on it. And I think throughout college, things would come to me easy. I thought like that was how adulthood was supposed to be. And so I think I kind of banked on that.
Yes.
And that wasn't any of my parents didn't raise me to be that way. I just, had a way of making things work. And that's even getting my degree. And that's not something like I recommend or encourage people to just make it work. But that was how college was going for me. And so at the time of graduation, I realized, I said, this is over with.
That's how I was too.
Oh my God.
I went to. I told her I was on here a couple weeks ago. I went to summer break.
Yeah.
Like I was going into my fifth year or something. I said, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I came home, went to the beach a couple times. And somebody was like, when you going to get a job? I said, oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
I got a degree and no job. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just rolling through the motions. I was having a good time at school.
Yeah.
I thought that feeling would last forever, for real.
Yeah.
So
I had the apartment with my good college mates, and I had an extra semester of rent, and I stayed one weekend. And I said, "Oh, I gotta go," and so I paid the rent and everything. I didn't even try to sublet it because I didn't want to do that to them.
right.
I said, "Nope, this is on me." I went home and I was like moving stuff out from weekend to weekend, but I was like, I cannot stay here. And that was probably the best decision I made because ain't no telling what I would have done if I'd stayed in Radford for another semester. I'm not going to lie to you.
That's crazy. We do need to do we're on schedule here. If you're just jumping in, this is Envision Radio from the United Way of Greater Charlottesville, News Radio 98.9, 1070 AM WINA. I still got it.
Still got it.
Couple weeks off,
still got it.
Price and Marky here again with James Dowell. And big thanks again, Jefferson School. And to, again, big thanks to Kim. She gave us
Kim.
hot mics last week.
Kim.
Shout out to Kim.
That's crazy. That was a dangerous decision. I hope it worked out for her.
She had so much trust and faith.
There was a lot of trust.
I text her. I'm like, yo, you could have had a bad night.
There was a lot. There was a lot going on there. I hope we did her proud. That was a fun evening. So talk a little bit. I know a lot of people know either parts of the story or a lot of people in town are involved in this story, but talk about the origin story, right? And talk about it from a standpoint, okay, we've got sort of pandemic era rules that we're all abiding by. Mm-hmm. What was the first conversation, right? So what was the moment that, because to this date, I haven't heard a lot. I mean, you weren't a runner, were you?
At all.
I would have thought you was cross country or something.
I mean, if there was an Instagram, I'd tell you I'm not a runner right now.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So start at the beginning. There's a lot of questions that will come off of this, but what's happening, right? So you're here, you're trying to do this Philly thing, you're not loving it, it's not really hitting, world shuts down, what happens?
Yeah, so I'm sorry, but let's backtrack a little bit before the world shuts down.
Okay.
It's 2019 of the summer. And I'm moving.
Leaving Charlottesville.
I'm moving.
Oh, you put yourself in a U-Haul.
Well, I thought I did in my head. But I'm like, I'm by the end of this summer, I got everything figured out. I worked for a couple of years. I'm moving.
Okay.
And just around that time, Will Jones and Wes Bellamy, they're running. They're like, yo.
That's right.
Hey, y'all, some people, come run with us. Let's get some black men out here active. Let's run. And so this is spring, summer of 2019. And me and my best friend, who we're tackling races now still to this day, Raheem Cooper, I was like, yo, let's go out there. He graduated a year after me. We're kind of searching what's next. He played collegiate baseball at Virginia Tech. And so, we're trying to be active at the same time, still searching for what's next in our career. And we're like, all right, we're going to go out there and we're going to run with them. And so they invited us out there on a Friday night. This was when we were doing Friday evenings at this time. And it's still no more than 5 or 6 of us. And I mean, when I say I got dragged through the mud, dragged through the mud where I was like, there's no way anybody wants to do this for fun or even to test their mind. I don't care. It's something else that we can do.
There's something else. There's another option.
Crocheting or something.
Another option. Yes.
So
you're breaking my mind.
Yeah, and so our route is 4-mile route through the predominantly black neighborhoods of Charlottesville. And so like there's some empowering aspect behind that as you're like struggling, breathing, you're coming up these hills, but it's still very, very hard where I'm like, there's no way I ever want to come back out here again. Until like the last part of the route. So like the last quarter of a mile, we come through West Haven, and like I seen like the homies out there from like high school, and they like, yo, what up? And I'm like, oh, okay, like maybe this can be empowering to the next generation, whatever. And I finished, and I felt like something lifted off of my body. I felt a little relieved. I felt like kind of free in a way where through those past 3 years, I'd just been struggling, trying to find out what's next, get my feet wet, find some stability. And so I told myself I would come back. And so I eventually kept coming back, but this is like every other week. This isn't nothing consistent. This is no more than 5 to 6 people, and we don't have a name called Prolyfyck Run Creww.
Runners.
Like brothers running.
Yeah.
Wes would be like, yo, come run these streets. And so that's what we would just call it, like run these streets. But we were never thought about it as a run crew perspective. We never surpassed more than 10 people in a group setting when we would run. And so after we did our annual turkey trot 5K, which was a annual race we were doing at the time pre-pandemic, still no relationship to like Prolyfyck Run Creww.
Right.
We kind of like shut down. When I say shut down, we was in season runners, so we like it's cold. I'm running in the winter time.
I don't love it like that. I'm like,
So now this is all pre-pandemic 2019, and so we kind of knew we had a buzz. We knew it was doing something for our bodies. We knew it was doing something for our mental, and so we knew it could benefit people. But we had no grand scheme idea of it being some global movement of a run crew space. And so pandemic happened. March 2020. Everybody's, in the house. Everybody's not able to like express themselves in specific ways. Everybody doesn't have the movement, no activity, no way to exert any energy. And so I remember when we got the first announcement of you can gather in groups of 50 or less, and they encourage movement and outside exercise, something clicked where I was like, we got to start the group back up. Like we have to start the group back up. And throughout that basically time of us not running and before the pandemic, the brand Prolyfyck had already existed. Okay. Prolyfyck, the name, our logo, had already existed, and it was created in 2018 for street apparel, for merch.
Okay.
And it was still not by me, by Will Jones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Will Jones, Ben, and Sade, D. Gilliam.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And so the mission still stands. Is to empower, inspire those who have been marginalized. It's to highlight the Black and brown communities of Charlottesville, Virginia. But it was to do that through street apparel. And it was inspired by Nipsey Hussle.
Sure.
Prolyfyck, so gifted. I'm the type that's going to go get it from his Victory Lap single. And so all of what the running was doing, it was living out what they wanted the brand to do. Yeah. And the brand just had never got up and off the ground. And so they had T-shirts, like cotton T-shirts and everything.
So when you came together, when you were looking for a name.
Yeah. Will was like, yo, the Run Creww is embodying what we wanted the merch to do.
Okay.
How y'all feel about if we call it Prolyfyck Run Creww?
Okay.
And I was like, I love it. That's up to y'all.
What's the 2 W's about?
So the uniqueness, crew.
I was
put our spit on the same thing with Prolyfyck, how we spell it. It's not spelled.
2 doves in the chat. Yeah. I was like,
W's in the chat.
Gotta be.
Yeah, and so the uniqueness of it, wanting to be different, wanting to be unique, and kind of have like that swag to the run space, because we still knew, even though we wasn't seasoned runners at the time, we knew that there was an aspect to bringing the culture to it and kind of being ourselves, like, you know, bringing like the music culture, the rap culture to the run space was more so like, how can you like amplify yourself in your own way without doing it? And so that was where the logo is the way it looks is kind of like inspired by the Crenshaw logo and from Nipsey Hussle and all of that. And so the 2 W's is kind of like our own swag to Run Creww culture. And so when we were allowed to gather, and I believe it was March or April 2020, we don't have no Instagram handle at this point, no Facebook handle, no Prolyfyck, nothing. So we're just posting on our main pages, tagging people, and like 25 people showed up, and we
wow. That's great.
And who are these people?
Yeah.
And why are you here? Because we masked up, so you can't even see nobody. So we just looking at eyes and hair.
Just strangers coming together.
And so we did that for like 5 months, really not even knowing who these people were. And it grew to like 100 people at one point. And we looked at the photo and we was like, what is this? These people are coming here. They're looking for like leadership. They're looking for like us to hold them accountable. They're waiting for us to send off, and we're like, there needs to be some structure here.
Yeah, like y'all looking at me like
people
what?
Running random.
Yeah,
we don't know their name.
No
we don't
crosswalk
know where
safety.
from, no crosswalk safety. No running etiquette.
Yes.
We don't know none of that stuff. We like, wait a minute, do we need insurance? Yes. Yes. Let's get that tomorrow. And so, you know, they like people like, yeah, so that's one of the leaders of like Prolyfyck, and we like, what is this? We literally Google running groups, and find out there's run crews, black run crews, run clubs in the world that's been doing it for like 20, 30 years at the time of when we were like, you know, just getting started. And we found a run crew in our backyard in Richmond. We off the couch, and we went up this pandemic still. We went up there one weekend, and I remember where it felt like home because we didn't even introduce ourselves. Because all these black run crews in their respective cities are doing the same kind of work. And we're learning like what it takes to like kind of like break down the barriers and access for like our people in this run space. Because it's a very expensive sport because of the merch and the gear and stuff, not like the competitiveness part, because we take the competition out of it and make it like a team sport. We're not out here racing. We're not out here competing against each other. And so once we learned that, we like started traveling, and like our name started like getting a little buzz as far as in the run space with like recognition through what we were working through here in Charlottesville, like through the history in Charlottesville and us being a black-led run crew. And like this is after like A11, A12. So you know how like the media outlets want to, and so like we're just getting like traction from like different parts of the country, and we like from us running, and we didn't really actually understand like how impactful it is and was at that time of what we was building here in Charlottesville, because what had already existed in other cities, and they were like inspired by us as well, and like it was received very well of like why we was doing what we was doing. Our route specifically is very like intentional, and so that's very unique to other run crews as well. And so yeah, man, it was, I mean, it's crazy. I think back to that date all the time, and I could tell this story for years to come, but it's a beautiful thing of what we've been able to grow out of it.
So when you went up to Richmond and other places and are hearing about these other black run crews, you know, the history of, you know, the running, did you know, like, what did you want the legacy, you know, hearing their legacy, what did you want the specific legacy of Charlottesville's run crew to be? Yeah, so I think it's very important of like, you know, getting people out to move. And so that clearly our driving force is walking and running. So of course that's a huge piece of the why, right? But what I never wanted to get away from is us pouring back into the neighborhoods we run through. And so like that's very, very important to us. And so I could talk about running all day long. I can talk about how my dad hated running, and now he's tackling races now with us, and talk about, you know, first time walker runners that took them 5 to 6 years to come out, and they might be completing their first 5K. But what's like very, very important to me in the group is us continuing to pour back into these communities beyond running. Right. Beyond running. And so I always ask myself that, like, what will you be able to leave behind? Because I won't be able to do this forever. I may be able to be around forever, but not like lead this in this way, this capacity forever.
And so, like, what is the thing that you could say that Prolyfyck created that's self-sustainable beyond just the walking and running through it? And so we created these things called these free dry food pantries, little dry food pantries. And so we have, shouts out to the City of Promise for our first installation. But I was, throughout our route, we see a lot of little free libraries, which is nothing against it. Nothing's wrong with that. And we have a relationship where we volunteer with some of the food banks here to deliver to families. And I've realized the barrier to access as far as transportation to getting their meals and getting their orders. And so with us providing transportation to assist, I was like, what if someone that typically transports themselves to get it can't pick up their order?
Right.
And so I was like, this could hold a family over for at least a day or so. Yeah. And so I started thinking about the little free libraries, and I was like, we could do free dry food pantries. And so we installed them either directly inside of the public housing facilities we run through or directly right outside.
That's cool.
And so that's like our ongoing, more latest initiative of like our why, of what you can do beyond just the Run Creww culture, because, just the Run Creww community, because there's a lot of different individuals from different backgrounds, professionals that make up this space, which we can use to our advantage for the communities we run through to provide outside resources other than just walking and running. Because at the end of the day, I highly encourage everyone to move their bodies, but it's just might not be it for some people. It's not it. It's not an appealing sport. If you don't come from a track background, it's not going to be something that feels inviting because it's hard. It's hard for me. I've been doing it for 6 years. And so I understand that. And so I tried to create ways from our Run Creww is beyond just the running.
How do you connect with people who aren't the running?
Bingo. Yeah. And continue that on, right? And so we do it through many ways. We do it through events that don't associate or affiliate themselves with walking or running. And partnering and amplifying other nonprofit and community organizations. That's something that we're big on. We try to not reinvent the wheel or create the wheel. We try to amplify and connect with those that's already doing it. And that's how we've been able to create, these authentic, organic relationships here in Charlottesville through Prolyfyck, which allows everyone to grow, not just us.
I'm always curious in the what you watch the group grow, you watch the group move. It's the most hilarious tapestry of people you've ever seen in your entire life.
Yes.
Right? What is that like? Because I think in an organization like that and a thing like that you have that sort of period of incredible growth, almost sort of like teenagers going through puberty, where you're like, what is going on? Right? Yes. This is not what I thought it would be. Like, none of my clothes fit. Like, the thing, right? Because it felt like, or at least to me, it felt like, because I've known about this for a long time, but it felt like it was the small thing.
Yeah.
And then overnight, every person I met was like, you should come run. You should come run. And I was like, hold on. Because it started with Wes would, and I'm like, look, man, I get it. I'm not getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Love this for y'all. I support it to the ends. Ain't my thing.
Yeah. And
then a week later, people I went to high school with, right? We're and I was like, hold on, what happened, right? What is that felt like from a standpoint of something that what I get from you is it was meant to be, a thing that was going to sustain you guys, that was meant to be sort of this small community nucleus that has now erupted into a thing that has all these touch points. I can see how that could be both very exciting, but also it's a different level of responsibility now, right? Whereby it's not all right, it's just me and the boys are out and we're running and it's cool. And if you're on the porch, we say hi. It's very much a thing. And it's a thing that people expect. And it's a thing that people have built into their lives. How do you mediate kind of the incredible experience of that with what I have to imagine is some level of responsibility?
Yeah. Oh, it's a huge level of responsibility. And that's one of the biggest challenges when you start small, and you can tell it's very intimate and it means a lot to those people that's founding members. And when I say founding members, I mean founding running members, people that started from early on, and then you grow exponentially. And it's that's the challenge because some folk, change is always difficult, regardless, good or bad. Change is always difficult. And so there are things that you have to force accountability for yourself to be able to remain consistent of the why, of the mission. And so this goes back into your most previous question, is we got to stay grounded, because when you grow in those ways, overnight, it's easy to chase like image. It's easy to chase like a social media presence, right? And like I have reminders and check-ins with myself of like, you need to do a scan and see if you're still staying true to the why and your community engagement piece of this is why you started and this is what you said you would never get away from. And so it's difficult because when you have new folks, they may not understand why this crew even exists. And so they may be on the exciting running kick where that can pull you to a whole nother category of runners. Like runners,
first place,
right?
First place competition. I'm
gonna get
for
through
this
the route
big
the
race.
fastest.
I'm gonna get through the route the fastest. Look at these times that I'm doing. Oh my God, I advanced in the past year, and I'm about to go qualify for these world major marathons. And it's like that's exciting because what if this person didn't come from a running background? But it's like, how do you control that and then control someone that's not coming out there because they don't feel that they're a part of it because they don't want to walk a 15-minute mile. And so it's keeping that together. And one way that I hold myself accountable to do it is you have to communicate that. That has to not be something that's behind closed doors of you trying to figure out the moving pieces. You got to do it in front of the crew. You got to share that. And when I say share it, it's like sharing that is okay. That this person,
there are different levels to this.
But you are also welcome, and you accomplishing this route is just as impressive as what this person is doing. And it's kind of, so it's more so like keeping everyone involved and making everyone feel a part of the crew, regardless of the level that you're on. Because it got difficult for a while, man, for a couple of years where the growth was like, I don't even know these people named, and everyone's posting about it. You don't know which story someone's going to tell and then how it'll be perceived from the audience eye of, oh, I'm not able to go out there. I'm not a runner.
Right.
And, but, we take...
so people can walk.
Oh, yeah. So that's what I was about to say. And we make that very clear with like how we present on social media. I'm not just posting fast runners.
Right.
That's not the agenda, and it never will be. And so I think that's very important. It's very important for language. Run, walk, or walk, run. You just put run group or you just put run behind everything. Why is someone that walk going to believe that they can come walk?
Right.
That's not inclusive, and it doesn't feel inviting also. And so language is important. The way that you present the crew's like atmosphere is important, and the just being very vocal and communicating in the sense of making folks know that they are welcome. It is an inviting space, but that's a forever challenge in the run space, and I think that'll always exist.
What are some of the... I'm going to do the thing.
Now, before we get back to that, this is Envision Radio from the United Way of Greater Charlottesville and City of Promise News Radio 98.9, 1070 AM WINA. Price, Markey, back with Littlez, Dowell here in the studio. And again, big thanks to our friend, to our sponsor, the Jefferson School Foundation. That is jeffersonschoolfoundation.org. Do it.
Can you talk a little about the children in the space?
Yes.
It's like a kid who didn't even know that Black people ran.
Yes.
I don't know.
No,
Black people be running, but like,
no, that's a thing.
Like, run
not
towards.
For fun.
We're the people that like, you saw one person running. I ain't no runner, but I trusted my people.
From something.
I trusted my people are running for a cause and a purpose, and I'm ready to turn and I'm ready to go away from the danger they're running away from. But
or track.
Like
outside of that.
we love,
we sprint. We're not doing we're not that long distance.
We are doing runs that do 30 seconds or less. We need Usain.
I feel like I read something about that early ball hawk was like, I'm not doing that. He's like, I'll sprint.
Yeah.
Like, we're not doing this whole...
We're not doing nothing long enough.
I sprint with y'all.
Miles. Yeah.
Like, I ain't running.
Yeah, right.
But like this idea of long runs, right, for kids and what it means to them to see people that look like them running and not in a dangerous sense.
Yeah, man. We had, some founding kid members, as I would say, and we called it Kids Crew, and we would do like cookout style, like field day games in the evening time to give them something to do because there wasn't any school. And so they were coming out so consistently, they believed that they could do whatever they saw us doing, which they could. And so we had our first like big race weekend in Richmond. And there's an 8K, which is 4.9 miles. And then a half marathon, that's 13.1. And then a marathon, that's 26.2.
Yeah.
It's crazy. We don't got to go into that.
Good on that.
Goodness.
But we had some of the kids, and they're in elementary school at the time.
Yeah.
They're like, we coming to run too. And so, not only them watching us, right, and us, being a positive influence, us continuing to 3 days a week run through these neighborhoods, they're seeing us, right? And we're not only greeting them, we're not seeing them get put on the school buses and, bringing, activities outside of us running there, whether it's like I said, field day type of games that we would put on with these neighborhoods. They are seeing us come through smiling. We're looking like that we're having a great time. When deep down inside, we're really struggling with our breathing. Let me just make that clear. But it can be inspiring to the youth for them to see, someone doing something that they love or something that they enjoy, and it should entice them to want to do it. And so we're inviting them out at the same time as well. And so for the past 6 years, we done seen these kids grow up. We just seen these kids go from elementary school to middle school to high school. And so, whether they're coming out with us or not, at least that we can try to show them a positive light of that you can create something and maybe doing something that you're not typically used to doing. And so them seeing us do it, I think, encourages them to try something new. And throughout that, we had kids come out there and run with us, and they're making sure that their moms or dads are bringing them out there so that they're there.
I'm going to have to drop mine off.
And they that's hilarious. Some of them did.
Like, this going to have to, y'all for daycare today, y'all going to run 8 miles.
Listen, we got tired at the end.
One of my guys, he is senior now, but he had wanted to come run with us. He was in the 9th grade at the time, and his mom literally came and dropped him off in the parking lot. And she stayed there until he got back.
Yes, bring him back to this.
It's like, y'all got him. We got him, and he still run with us to this day. Not every morning because of school, tired. But this is gonna sound crazy, but he started running not like with us. I'm not gonna say like we introduced him to running in high school or anything, but he's like, I remember his first time running with us. We're like, you run track and stuff? He's like, yeah, but like that ain't my sport. He's ended up running his first marathon. He ended up running a 50-miler.
Wow.
What?
This is crazy.
He's in high school still to this day.
What?
And they like, oh no, he's not like, doesn't have the love for running. He really enjoys it. His sport is like lacrosse. His sport is, he plays basketball. And like, he just like has a feel for it. Like I think it allows him to be free, and he just feels kind of like at ease.
Like mental wellness.
I've never done, I don't want to get into.
You can't get in trouble if you tired at 5 from running your 5 a.m.
So, you know what? Witnessing him do it, and I think he was in like the 4th grade at the time. But he went up there and ran his first 8K with his grandma. His grandma brought him up there.
Brought him. Wait,
grandma did it.
His grandma was running.
It's a grandma though. She. I mean, she's young.
Sure.
His grandma took him up there like just drop him off, but she was running.
Grams was running too. Don't get me wrong. But
wow.
And he ran his first 8K, and he was like, I'm doing the half next year. She like, pipe it down now. I don't know now. But like, we saw this happening through us just being consistent.
Yeah,
Through us showing the kids, vulnerability too. Like, every day isn't pretty for us out there. You know, it's like I said, this isn't no competition. We're not out there racing, but it's not pretty. And when I say pretty, I don't mean just the run. Like, we're waking up early in the morning, and we have an evening run, walk run now too. I'll get into that in a little bit. But we're waking up early in the morning. That don't mean like yesterday's personal life didn't affect us, right? Sure. And so we break down at the end of these walk runs. We in the circle, and like we cheering, but sometimes we crying, and sometimes we talking about the social injustice issues that's going on. We talking about the stuff we dealing with here in Charlottesville. We're doing this after our walk run, so everybody's tired, and so emotions come out, like high energy come out, and so the youth is there witnessing this at the same time. And so I think it just allowed an outlet for all of us that we didn't even know existed for us to come together and kind of tackle life together in a way.
The talk about kind of the growth of the, I guess you'd call them sort of the offerings, right? I mean, this is a thing that you guys are doing because you love it, because you think it's important. How do you mediate that with obviously the other things you have to mediate? People have families, people have jobs. I mean, like, you guys have done an incredible job of being, all right, we'll do it in the morning. And then it's like, all right, we'll do it in the evening. Right? Or, you know what I'm saying? I mean, like, how far does that How far does that go? I mean, how much of yourselves can you give to this, with it still being a thing that is exciting and that's energizing and doesn't become a burden?
That is a great question. And I had to literally look myself in the mirror last year and say, if this is something you love and this is your passion, then it needs to be sustainable in a healthy way. Because if you're burning out and it's not something, you're doing something you don't love no more, something needs to shift.
Yeah.
And we need to make adjustments. And I didn't get to that point, but I felt like I was doing too much to try to appeal to all of the...
Like it's a business,
appeal to all of the... And it is to appeal to all of the different challenges that it takes to allow folks to participate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a perfect segue into we never ran or walked in the evening time.
Right.
And that's just because we got started in the morning. Nothing against evening time. And so for the past 3 to 4 years, we would say, we need to do this evening run. We need to do this evening run. And I was not scared. I was like skeptical on committing to that because I know what it takes when you're creating something community oriented and something that you feel that is a need and you can't commit to it, but you start something. Is like, for me, it's like would be one of the biggest regrets of when I'm doing something I care about. And so I just wouldn't do it. I'm not committing to an evening walk run. I'm not committing to it. And then every year went by and more things got back to normal in school and people having to get up and put their kids on the bus and then go to work. I'm like, this isn't accessible to everyone. This isn't the pandemic anymore. And so I literally thought of ways of 4 miles. I'm like, 4 miles is not inviting. Like, why are we lying to ourselves? Like, yes, in the pandemic, it was cool and any and everybody came out, but there was nothing else to do. So I would come out
we
too.
built this model in a place where there was nothing else to do.
Like, I come do 10 miles. And I don't even know what 10 miles
is. House,
whatever.
Like, finally, something to do.
Yeah, I'm like, this is not the same no more. We need an adjustment. And every other run crew in the world has a 2 or less than
like a tiered
okay
evening walk run.
Oh wow.
Except for us. Which is fine. You don't have to follow the model. That's not like you need to be like anyone else. I do not encourage that on anyone. But when I think about the sport of running, I'm like, that is way more accessible than 4 mile rolling hill, Charlotte Hill. What are we talking about?
5 o'clock in the morning.
At 5 o'clock in the morning. Come on now, let's stop lying to ourselves.
I get scared.
And so I did it. I literally said, I'm doing it. I'm posting it. And I made a flyer and I posted it because once I do something like that, there's no going back.
Right.
Yeah.
And that holds myself accountable. And it was the best thing that happened. And that just started this year.
Oh, wow.
And so it brought a whole new demographic. It's like Prolyfyck all over again.
Really?
It's like Prolyfyck 2.0. It's people that's never participated in anything.
I couldn't. I put my kids on the bus. I wanted to come, but
I'm talking to these people at 6 p.m. in the evening on Monday, every Monday. I'm talking to these people like they've been with us for the past 5.5 years. They look at me like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
I'm like, after we come up cold shower, that's our last hill after we pass City of Promise at West Haven. They like, huh? I'm like, yo, this is amazing. Like, I get to like backtrack and live this again.
Yeah.
But I also done last year where we have an off season.
okay.
And I said,
I was wondering about that.
I need time to regroup.
Right.
And not only regroup of like,
is it the women?
Self-sustainable, but like create new ideas and new initiatives and make sure that I'm checking in with myself and we still doing what we're supposed to do for the Charlottesville community and beyond. And so that's a way that we've been able to balance it. And it was the greatest thing I could have done.
That's a good idea.
Greatest thing I could have done. And so we stop after our annual turkey trot, which we have over a couple hundred people to come out. It's free. It's the morning of Thanksgiving. It's not 5 a.m. It's at 9 a.m. And it's open to any and everyone. It's a beautiful thing. And so that caps off our year. And then we start back up in April with the morning, and we start back up in May with our evening.
What makes a member? Like, I come out there, is it like
you a part of it?
Am I a part of it if I come one time?
You're a part of it. It's people that maybe has never participated in any of our walk runs, but any of our community events.
Oh.
All hands on.
I like that.
Anybody that supports it is a part of it. If you love what we're doing, you're a part of it.
Okay.
But it's funny because people be like, man, I got to come up there to get a shirt. I'm like, well, no, you don't, because we sell everything online.
Right.
Right.
So let's just make that clear.
Shirt,
But they think of it in a way of like they have to participate.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, this is not a run thing. This is a Charlottesville thing.
Yeah.
And so, but it's funny. So when people come, they're like, yeah, I got my letters.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, yes, but it's no such thing as you sign up or anything.
Okay.
It's a pull up rule.
Ooh.
No registration needed. Any and all is welcome. So y'all having me here, y'all part of it.
We in.
I did.
Price already know though.
I was scared to run the mile to get in.
Yeah,
But
you gotta
no,
pass.
I was like, dang,
muster.
I think it's a cool group, but I'm not like a runner.
We got a Halloween event coming up
I
with City
saw
of
the
Promise.
Halloween.
Man.
I follow y'all.
Right.
I follow the group, but I'm like, I'm not in the position.
Yeah.
Talk about. I mean, look. Let's talk about you. I mean, like you are now running. You're running now.
You're a runner?
Running. Like,
Yeah.
and you said earlier, I would
You would
argue
say
you're
you're
not
not
a
a
runner
runner
because people who are not runners. I'm not a runner. I'm not out there running marathons.
What's a runner?
Someone who runs long distances for fun. Like that's what a runner is,
running
right?
for fun is crazy, but
It's
he's not wrong.
crazy.
And like we try to like ignore it. We try not to accept that. It's
like
true.
Yeah, right. So like that's nuts. That to me, that's nuts. And as someone who's played sports and plays sports professionally,
Yes.
that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
I will run with a purpose. I will
Yes.
chase a ball. I will run away from things.
Used to run in school for one of them little feet that come to my house.
I mean, even to me, to like, once you get to marathon, we're talking about driving distance.
Yes.
I'm not going to run to
From here
Waynesboro.
to
I'm going to drive. That's cool. I'm good on that, right? I mean, but talk about your personal evolution through that, right? As someone who wasn't into it, who was into it for community, who now, I mean, the community is obviously an incredibly important part of it and will be the anchor, but like, you are running for fun.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, what? Talk about that. What has that been like?
It's funny because I could make some jokes about it because folks that decide to wake up and go running, at the end of the day, yes, you may be dealing with some stuff, working through some things, but like you don't have to go run. So it like is for fun in a way of like you decided to do that.
Right.
But my journey, was a little bit different, and I didn't get into running for fun. I think what has allowed me to gravitate to like the sport of running and to like commit to it is like my life journey. And when I say my life journey, a lot of times people need outlets, and when you can't find an outlet, you can cause you to go into deep depression, or you find a positive outlet that allows you to come out of it. And so for me, I didn't know I was in like this horrible like blackout state of like grief, right? And so, I lost my brother in 2015 and like my grandfather a couple of months after. So this is right before I graduated college. And so I'm going through college, so like I'm masking things, not even knowing it. And I graduate college, and for the past 3 to 4 years before me running, I never really found like that what's next. I wasn't going to therapy at the time. I didn't even think about going to therapy. I didn't think anything was like wrong with me. And I say wrong with me, I didn't even know I was dealing with grief and depression. And so I'm just living life. And when I say living life, I'm just moving through life however I felt was good for me, however I felt was healthy for me. And I remember that first run that I explained earlier, it like did something to my like mental of like me being able to like think clearly. And I was like, man, there's no way running's doing
that's
this.
not necessarily for fun.
That old runner's
I ain't trying to. I don't even want to accept this.
Yeah, you're running to keep your future or something like that.
And so, just throughout the running journey, man, and throughout life obstacles, I've understood that running complements that it allows me to like strategically work through problems, because running is so hard. Like your mind is trying to think of something else. For 6 years, it is not like
still ain't easy for you.
The route that we've been running for 6 years is not easy. Every morning that we start, this is not a me thing. And you could interview any runner from Prolyfyck, they will complain about the same part of the route that we've complained about the past 6 years. So it's not an easy thing to do. And so being able to commit to something that's not easy 3 to 4 to 5 times a week allows you to not give yourself excuses when challenges arise in life, through work, through personal life, through taking care of kids. And so I've accepted that part about running, that it helps me with life. And so I am a crazy runner. And when I say a crazy runner, the people that wake up in the morning and go run, that is a crazy thing to do.
That's a crazy person thing to do.
What are we talking about? I can sleep in. I don't got to work until 9 or 10 o'clock. And I'm going to wake up, set my alarm at 5 o'clock to go run. That does not sound fun at all. But man, it allows people to like adjust their lives where it's needed, because there's so much discipline that goes into running or walking to wake up and do it consistently, that it's like, and I'm going to give myself excuse because I don't want to go home and make this bed up or do this laundry or, clean this house that I need to do, or meal prep, or show up on time to these games to support these kids. Like, I can do this, then I can do this. And so then you get the bug, and the bug is, well, what else can I do? Because I done maxed this out. When I say max this out, I kind of normalized it. Yeah. Not that it's easy, but I kind of normalized it. That's part of my routine. And that's why I tell people I would never encourage anyone to get into half or marathon training, because there is no coming back, and I promise you that. And there's other things in life, I promise you, that give people these like effects.
Yeah, there's endorphins.
These endorphins. It's not just a running thing. I guarantee you.
The runner's high is a real thing.
That is.
I've only felt it once, but
it's insane. And Price, because he keeps bringing up, I'm running these marathons, because he ain't lying. I'm doing New York City in a couple of weeks. New York City Marathon. It's one of the world majors. The world majors are like the top 7 popular marathons in the world. The top elites go out there and run it. So you do the same course as these professional athletes. Yeah. It don't matter if you walk the whole thing. You're doing the same course, and we get the same medal at the end of the day. So who want to talk about how fast or slow someone ran? You got the same medal as I did.
Exactly. Yours ain't bronze and mine gold.
So I am doing it, and it's my 4th one. But I look at every marathon as a piece of my journey at life, of like what I've gone through and what's behind me, like what I'm working towards. And so that allows me, which I'm like, all right, stop giving me things to work through, so I ain't got to run these marathons no more. But it's not just marathons that take you to do that, but the training that goes into the marathon is 12 to 16 weeks. And that training block of like accountability, man, you come out of that, you can do anything. You can do anything.
And you have to qualify for marathons.
Yeah,
right?
There's a couple of ways. Yeah, so you got to qualify. So that's the first way to get in, and that's an automatic bid. And so qualifying means you have to run a specific time. Okay. So that is the competitive piece behind these world majors and just any marathon. Well, not any marathon, the world majors. Okay. The New York City one. So it's 7. It's 7 world majors you have to qualify to get into. If you don't qualify, there are other ways to get into. You can fundraise. Fundraise means you choose a charity of choice, which it should be one that you care about, near and dear to your heart. Right. We gotta get City of Promise on there.
Let me know. Look, that might be the way to give it. I'll run.
Yeah,
I'll run. In that regard, I will run.
Tail out there.
I will run.
So what they do, these organizations, they don't have to participate in it. What you do is you get people that care about your organization and run it, I guess. And you have a team of 10, because they give each organization a fundraising goal. And so City of Promise, let's say their goal is 5,000. You can split that up however you want to. Okay. It could be 10 runners, you split that up. You can do 2 runners, split that up. And so that's a way. And so these real big marathons allow organizations to do it for their way of giving back to the organizations. And then the runners.
But you don't have to. That's not the same type of qualify.
No, that's basically the qualifying would be you got to reach your goal, or you pay it out of your pocket. And then the third way, so it's qualify, charity, or lottery. And it's like playing the lottery.
Like random.
And it's thousands, hundreds and thousands of people.
People enter the lottery.
They accepting 2% of that. So it's a lottery. So that's unlikely.
Yeah.
So it's really 3 ways. The best way to guarantee is qualify.
So you're qualifying based on your time?
I ain't qualified. No, I didn't qualify. Yeah, no. I got it through partnerships.
You said I beat the minutes.
I know some people. Yeah.
Over 200,000 applications were received for the 2025 New York City Marathon. Approximately 2 to 3% of general applicants gain entry.
It's harder than getting into college.
The total number of runners on race day is expected to be 55,000 people.
Yeah, that's our population.
That's the entirety of it.
That's our population. I tell people all the time when, like, because a lot of people know of Charlottesville and or UVA, but they haven't traveled here, and they're like, "What is like?" I say, "There's many people running, and this isn't a run space. Let me make that clear." I'm like, it's the same population of this race we about to run, And like that blows their mind because a lot of these run crews are from big cities. So
right,
yeah, and so then they also then be amazed like, oh, y'all was birthed from out of that. Like, yo, that's even more inspiring. Like, yo, y'all, because all these, like I said, they're in these big cities and they're doing thousands of people's on their weekly community.
That's crazy.
Wow,
1% chance to get in.
Yeah, it's wild. Crazy. I'm telling you, it's crazy. It's
and
wild.
you it's more likely to get struck by lightning almost.
Yeah.
So what's next? What is, I mean, so this is, what are we in 2025? So it's 6-ish years. I mean, is the trajectory the same? Are we continuing on the same trajectory? Is it bigger? Is it better? I mean, and we've had some of these conversations, but I mean, like, what are we on the lookout for?
Yeah. So one thing that I think will never get old, which I don't ever want to get tired of, is like the race and run season. And so I say that because, like I said, we're not built on competition, but every year there's a newcomer of the crew that's never participated in any kind of these activities, and they want to set themselves out to do a distance that they've never done. And so, like, we'll always have that. Like, we'll always have that. We have first-time marathoners, first-time half, first-time 5Ks. First-time 5Ks are just as important as a first-time marathoner. It doesn't sound like it. I promise you it is. Like, watching my dad do his first 5K, which is 3 miles, and him telling me to my face, I will never participate, son. I will never run. And then we can't keep him from doing it.
Sure.
And I'm like, that will never get old to me, right? Seeing those stories, seeing people, grandparents come up with their grandchildren, and then they both tackle these obstacles together that they've never done, is something that will always be there, and I hope that it will always bring light to like our why. But as far as like a bigger picture, we actually just got another sponsor to install 2 more dry food pantries at 2 of the other public housing sites. So that's approaching 4 with the dry food pantries, and we have 2 other public housing sites that have these sexy pantries in there, which are feminine hygiene.
Oh.
So the women created that.
I love that.
And so they go inside. And so it will technically be a total of 6 public housing, 4 with dry food pantries, 2 with sexy pantries. And so the goal is to install them in every one. But, they're going through a bunch of the redevelopment. So we're just waiting for where the right place to put it. And so, like, that's huge to me. That's big to me. But our annual fundraiser challenge that we do every year, it's been the past 3 years, so this will be year 4. It's getting bigger, it's getting better, it's forming itself into like one of our annual events. Our first year, one of the recipients was City of Promise, and so we started this like very, very bare bones grassroots thing of we going to highlight the organizations that give directly back into the neighborhoods we run through. We're not going to make this about ourselves, we're going to make this about other people, but what we're going to do is we're going to do our route like for 2 days straight. And we do it like every 4 hours. It's called the David Goggins Challenge. I don't want to get into that because that's crazy, but it's crazy. 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. Listen, let's not get into that.
That's something else.
We're going to highlight these neighborhoods. We're going to highlight these organizations. We're going to do like this big check presentation, and we're going to give back.
Love it.
And so that's something that we will be able to continue to grow and then start inviting outside crew members into like our space, our community, for them to see what we've built here. And created like a prolific weekend in a sense. That's something we're growing towards, continuing to grow those fundraising initiatives to give back more and more each year. We've surpassed our goal every year of giving back to different organizations we choose every year. And so it's kind of like solidified itself as like a true fundraising event, but that highlights the neighborhoods beyond what Prolyfyck is just doing. Because we're in there, like I can't do the math, but like at least 12 times a day at all hours.
Wow.
And so that's something huge, something dear to my heart that I think is very, very important as to a why, and showcases it beyond like our morning and evening walk run of what we're doing for the Charlottesville community. And so just keep amplifying, man. Keep showing up. I tell people the biggest, they're like, what do you see Prolyfyck 5 years from now? I'm like, still here. Mm-hmm. And that's huge for me. Like to sustain something for 5+ years, any organization, right? And to continue to show up. And our organization is you showing up and you have to be on, right? And that's not because that's a requirement, but like people are there to see people. Yeah. And so us just being consistent and continuing to show up is something that I look forward to as well, and what's next for me.
If people want to reach out to you, people want to get on your Instagram, website, where can they go?
Yes. Prolyfyck Run Creww with 2 W's on Instagram as well as Facebook, prolyfyck.com. Go on our website, purchase some merch. We got merch for all, not just for runners or walkers. We have street apparel on there as well. My personal is Littlez _ on Instagram and James Dowell Jr. on Facebook. We have a couple of months left. The last Monday in October, 6 p.m. is our last 1 mile-ish. It's called Mileage High Mondays. It's a 1 mile route.
I love that.
Walk run. 6 p.m. evening. It's our last Monday in October, and then our final morning, Friday morning walk run, 4 miles, 5:50 at 6 a.m. Early birds is caps off at our Turkey Trot, which is on Thanksgiving. So,
and we got some Halloween
fun we got
up.
some Halloween event next Saturday, Jenkins Park, right outside of West Haven, right behind City of Promise. What's that, headquarters?
That's right. The flagship.
1 p.m. It's a costume drive as well.
Right.
We're collecting costumes for the youth at the event, or if you want to drop off before, please contact Prolyfyck Run Creww on Instagram. But it's 1 p.m. It's free. We got pizza. We got crafts, we got sack races, we have cupcakes. Chrissy Cakes is donating treats for everyone. Clearly trick-or-treating for all the kids. Wear your costumes or not, you're still invited, and it's free. You do not have to register.
Good?
Yes.
Feels good to be back.
Feels good to be back.
Big thanks to Littlez for hanging out with us. If you guys have ideas for the show, people we should get in contact with, or want to check out what we got going on, follow us on social media at United Way Seaville, at City of Promise, or drop a note in the inbox and vision at unitedwayseaville.org. We get support on the show from folks like you. If you like what you hear, share this with your friends, your colleagues, family.
Your enemies? We don't care.
Enemies, just passersby. Yeah, it's a big tent. Yeah. Subscribe on your favorite podcast platform for new episodes every week. And, of course, the best way to support our wonderful nonprofits as we ease into the season of giving is to make a contribution. City of Promise, United Way, Prolyfyck. That's how we continue to do our community-based work. And, of course, this show. For Littlez from Marky, happy to be back in the seat. This is Price.
Peace.
Be well. We will see you next week.
Peace.